So, Toby,
hmm
have you seen Avatar 2 yet?
Yep, seen it twice. I saw it first time with my friends, and I saw it the second time with my granddad. And you know what? Seeing it with my granddad was probably like the best fun because it's someone who doesn't really see films like this and is blown away by the visuals and everything. It's just insane, and loves the story. I mean, let's be real. The inherent story of Avatar is basically like a Western film. It's the Native Indians versus the Americans sort of vibe. If you get from it, it's like sort of a foreign person coming to another planet and taking over what's theirs that shouldn't be theirs.
hmm Yeah, I saw the film. I've only seen it once since it premiered, but I can't deny I for a film that was like in development for over a decade, it definitely didn't disappoint. I enjoyed it,
You enjoyed it. I
and
found it slightly underwhelming though, personally.
I will say this: I didn't enjoy all of it. Is a better way to say,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
I
yeah.
definitely appreciate it for what it did do and what it did do good. I
hmm
guess jumping to what would have been my like concluding thoughts, I feel like the film is definitely lovely to look at,
hundred
and it's
percent.
clear that a lot of people worked really hard to create this breathing and living world and the characters that inhabit it. But I do feel like the film suffers from retreading a lot of ground that was done in the first movie,
I see your
primarily the
point.
first act and the final act.
Yeah, it's the same thing. It's just like humans come to this planet, they're trying to take it over again. Oh no, there's a guy, he's got a vendetta against Jake Sully again. Oh my god, let's go try and kill
Yeah,
him because he killed me.
and to add to that, he's the same character. He's not. He's literally been put back from the dead.
Yeah, he's the same. He's literally, he's just forgotten like what's happened in between. It's just like the story is a bit. It's there. It does the job. It serves the purpose. But as I've always put it, I do think Avatar 2 is a bit of a tech demo for what they've created.
Oh, you think so?
I do feel like, yeah, no, 100%, like because like, the film has done it has innovated about underwater filming and all that sort of stuff, and it's a tech demo for that. And I feel like James Cameron probably just like served a simple story that is the simple story is about family and keeping family together. I assume is what his sort of theme is. It's like about family, and he's like, all right, we can use the theme about family and how they have to travel to a different place because they're being driven away. It's like, in a sense, it's like I can see where James Cameron gets his inspiration from. It's about family. Like, I don't know if you mind me going into like topics like this. It's like, say for example, you're in a war-torn country like Afghanistan, Syria, or something like that. I feel like he's trying to capture what the feelings that something like them people would have to go through, and then they come to a new country and they have to prove themselves in this new country that they have been fled to because they have no choice. And that's kind of like where Avatar has sort of gone. That's the route he used, and it was it's a simple. It's not simple. There's intricacies to that story, obviously, but it's a simple story to serve the purpose of his tech and what he's shown, what he's showing.
Yeah, it really does feel like the story. While it's clear that there was effort put into it,
Oh
it
yeah,
does feel like this
of
is
course.
such a simplified, well, not simplified. It is a simple approach to a narrative of a second movie.
Yeah,
Because for years, I assumed that if they were to go forward with the sequel, they would have it be entirely set on Pandora and have it be about Jake, maybe meeting, exploring it, going on a journey throughout the world and seeing different factions and tribes. I
yeah,
didn't expect them to be a full on like, oh, the humans came back, and
yeah,
now we have to basically do a lot of the first movie again, where it's defending our planet. And as you said, there is a story there they could explore that, which is what they are going to be doing.
mm,
But you can't deny that for a film that was like in development for over a decade, the fact that they went that route, it did. I guess to some people it felt a bit repetitive.
yeah.
For me, I felt more like what saved the movie was the second act, because the first act and the last act are basically repeats
When the
of
water arrives is where they saved.
yeah,
Literally at that
yeah,
point. Literally the whole point of the film is where the film becomes good. I feel.
yeah. The first act is that it's all set up and it's the same scenario. The final act is the same thing. It's a big battle defining the fates of our heroes, but the middle act when they're at the water tribe and they basically have to learn how to live there now and make new acquaintances and friends, and they have to learn how to be a productive member of that clan. It really not only does it give the audience a chance to see the fruits of the film's labor in the CG technology for the water,
Mm,
but just in general, just that new approach to it from a narrative perspective. Because we've again, the first movie was all about the jungle and the Navi's homeland, and here we're seeing like a different approach to that, which I thought was
yeah.
so interesting and so enjoyable to watch. And
It's
jumping back a
interesting.
bit,
Oh, sorry.
jump is okay, but yeah, jumping back a bit with Marvel movies, like I think it was like a few months earlier we'd had Black Panther 2, Wakanda Forever,
Yeah.
and that had a similar premise where the main characters go to an underwater city, and it was so ugly to
Recreating
look
that
at.
story. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
That.
and
Yeah. That
it was
is.
just it was just very unappealing. And when you watch Avatar 2, and you've got these beautiful coral reefs, and you've got this environment that is so breathe. It's like you're on holiday and you just go in for a swim, or you're. It's hard to really put into words, really. But that
Yeah.
seeing that movie brought me flashbacks to when I took my family to when me and my family went to holiday in the Caribbean, and it was just
Oh.
such a nice memory too. So to add that feeling of like nostalgia and also immersion in that film was definitely what sold the movie, and which is
Definitely. I
why
mean, it's just, it's nostalgia even to Avatar itself from 20, was it 2008 it came out? 2010, something like that.
2009.
Yeah, 2009, I was close. Sorry. Yeah, no, it's nostalgia to that. That's what brought people back as well. Like nostalgia to places in the world. Like there's like the water aspect. It looks so beautiful. Like, I mean, I don't think there's any film that's better than that in terms of filming in water, right? There can't be anyway. I mean, at least I don't think so. At least for CG.
The only film that probably comes to mind that has a similar amount of water use is like maybe Waterworld or maybe the Deep Blue Sea.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd say what the film does good, they do well, but
Yeah.
there's no denying that certain creative choices do hold the film back from being like a uniquely new film. And I
Mm.
feel
No,
like
100%.
that's definitely going to be a make it or break it thing for the films going forward. Because
Definitely. I mean, hopefully James Cameron won't be like ILM, uh, and he actually allows. I mean, I know that. So the tech behind the film is all under it's not copyright, but it's all like sort of yeah. No, all of the stuff that they use for the film is under copyright, so no one else can, apart from his studio that he's created, can use that underwater tech, which is it's good for him, but for films pushing forward, I don't think it is.
yeah, it's going to be interesting to say the least how audiences react to the film series as they go forward. And
Yeah,
briefly
yeah.
touching on that, actually, do you have any expectations for the third film?
They might have a lawsuit coming in soon. I don't know if you heard about the thing. Like, so they're going. Well, is it the first one's air, second one's water, third one's gonna be about. Apparently, it's gonna be about fire. Well, if they go about Earth in the fourth one, they might be having a lawsuit coming their way from
Maybe.
Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Well,
But that was a bit off topic. But for the third one, I don't actually have many expectations for it. To be fair, like like in my opinion, I feel like the third one's gonna be. I low key have a feeling it's gonna be a bit of a low. It's always gonna be because it's coming out in like 2 years, right? A year or two from
yeah,
now.
they've confirmed that the film series will be releasing every 2 years.
Or two
This one
years,
will be
yeah,
out in December of 2024.
yeah. And I feel like I don't think there's much expectation, like, and I don't think it's gonna sell as much because there isn't that 10 year gap between the film. Because the first Avatar, everyone loved it, and then this one, I feel like it's quite forgettable. If that sounds bad, so I mean, I haven't thought about Avatar 2 as much as I thought about Avatar 1 since Avatar 2 came out. at
Really?
all. Apart from, I mean, we're talking about it now, yeah, but no, I haven't really thought about much of it. Like, yeah, occasionally like a topic comes up about Avatar, but not as much as the first one because it's just so different and stunning. But the second one, I mean, the second one is stunning. Don't get me wrong, but I feel like the third one might be a bit of a low. Depends on how they sell their market. They probably market it. To be fair, it's Disney. They're probably gonna market that shit like so well.
Maybe you
But
never know. I personally, I do agree. I feel like this film is going to be like, as I said, the make or break it scenario because
yeah,
they don't have the 10-year wait period for people to build up
bit of
anticipation.
hype. Yeah,
And unlike or again, unlike the first film where it was like new renovation to see this technology, and in the same case with the second one, it was about renovation technology with underwater. They don't really have that anymore to fall back on. They really just have the story that has to sell
yeah.
it.
They don't have any
So
innovation. Well, I mean, they might have. I mean, fire simulators. So if it's fire, I mean, I've heard it might be about fire.
yeah, I think Cameron came out recently, or a few months ago. He came out confirming, or it was not long after the film released, I believe. He came out confirming that the film will center on the Sully family confronting a new tribe of Navi called the Fire
Yeah.
Navi, or like that's roughly what they're being called at the moment. And yeah, they're going to be the antagonists, and we know the humans are going to have some form of it. It's rumored they might team up with them, but
Wait, they're gonna be the bad guys of the film, the Fire Nation.
yeah, yeah. Cameron
Oh my
the
god, they
goal
are.
was
They're getting a lawsuit. They get one.
Cameron confirmed that the goal with the third film was to show that the Navi aren't all, well, not all Navi are good people, just like how there's good humans and bad humans. And I think that's good. I think that's definitely going to make it different compared to the last two, where it was all about humans bad, Navi good. He's like,
Yeah.
sure, sure, we get what you're going for, but hey, there's no denying that we're not exactly like always appreciative of being like vilified. So it's nice that they're going to try and change up the.
It does. It does need to change up, honestly. Really like a lot. You know, what I do. I know this is skipping to the fourth one, if whenever the hell that's coming out, or whenever they do it. But I think I've said this before. I said it to you before about um, if they went to Earth, they bring it to Earth. That would be quite cool. See how Earth is doing. Where the hell they're at. Like,
Yeah,
because all we see is Pandora. Like, I mean, Pandora is cool. It's a cool little place, but Earth would be quite interesting to see what that's about.
yeah. I think again, people can correct me if I'm wrong on this, but I believe they did also confirm that Avatar will be going to Earth, will return to Earth at some point, and I believe a rumor that was going around for a period was that Natiri, Jake's wife,
Mm.
she is going to go to Earth and see firsthand
The
what it's
damage that.
suffering by.
Yeah, yeah,
So a lot of people are theorizing that that could be like the ending for the series, where it's about the heroes returning to Earth, and they've got to find a way to save Earth so that
mm,
they can coexist with Pandora instead of just having to fight each other constantly until one victor succeeds.
yeah.
And I'm not gonna lie, I think that's definitely a nice goal or ending for the series to go for,
It would be
especially if
very
it's
good. Yeah.
yeah. I think the only downside is just like certain repetitive storylines, like the returning antagonist from the first movie. Because again, the rumor for
Well,
a
he's gonna
while,
come back. He's still alive, isn't he?
yeah, the rumor for a while was that he was going to come back, but he was going to have some form of a redemption,
Yeah, that'd be
and
alright though. I mean, if that little
again,
Tarzan kid could help with that, that'd be alright.
yeah, that could still happen. And if that is what's the plan is, if that is what the plan is, I'll fully take back my criticism because I feel like with the big picture scenario, I think it would be make a lot more sense. But as is after the second movie, he's still an antagonist, and I just feel like is this going to be like a full on like oh you just brought him back because you like the actor, or is
Yeah,
this because you have a story to tell and you just need to actually get to that point?
yeah. No, I get you
So
100%.
yeah, I do feel like he's got to have that heel turn by the third movie because if again, Cameron also said that he will be the antagonist throughout the entire series. If that's the case, I'm like, I feel like you've made a big mistake there because again, a villain. It's a age old saying, but a villain is only as good as their hero. and you need to have a really good villain to actually make the story interesting. And as much as a good actor as the guy is, the general character, he's not exactly like the top 10 villains of like film entertainment.
No,
So I feel like
definitely
to
not.
make him interesting, you have to commit to a redemption, or at
I think
least
he's so
try something different
basic.
other than "I want to kill you because you killed me."
Yeah, no, he's such a basic villain. I'd say he's just like I find it. I feel like for a one-off movie, a military, because he's like U.S. Army, hell yeah, sort of guy. Like for a
Mhm.
one, if for a one-off film as like that, it's alright. But when you have like every film is like U.S. military, hell yeah, every like 5 films in a row, it's just like, oh, just go away. I don't care. Have a better villain. Like it's just like Terminator. Like I mean, was Terminator is a villain? Yeah, he is. Like that sort of thing. They need someone like that. Like something. Man, it would have been cool if it was like actually like as you say the third one, the Fire. If I'm gonna call them Fire Nation, Fire Nation. If they're the antagonists and they create that singular fire guy into a villain, that would be cool. Although that would be stepping into another territory again. Um, but yeah, no, it would be really cool. You know what I was thinking about though this whole time we're talking about Avatar is like, do you think that they would ever sort of make Avatar into like a TV show? Like they would try and create like a spin-off TV show about Avatar.
I think they would. I feel like after
I have
maybe
a
like
feeling
the
that's
third
on the
movie,
horizon. Yeah,
I don't think it's in the works at the moment. I mean, again,
but I feel like it's around.
for all we know, that could change by the time this episode goes up. They might
Yeah,
announce it.
yeah. Tell me
But
about it.
yeah, if there's one thing you can know about franchises is that if it's making money and the audience enjoy it, there's going to be a TV show. I mean,
Mm.
I last season for Grey Owl, me and my co-host and friend Harry, we did a discussion on Harry Potter as a TV show, and at the time it was just a rumor for like 2 years that Warner Brothers is working on something, but we don't know if that's still happening or if it's been cancelled and they're just like holding off on announcing it in case reasons. But like less than like 6 months later, we got the news that they're doing a Harry Potter TV show.
Yeah, yeah, I do remember. What is it? Where? What? How is that? It's completely off topic from Avatar, but when is that? What is that about? Like, were they trying? What time frame, or where they're trying to set that in?
They confirmed it's going to be a full on reboot of the book series. So
Oh,
we're going
what?
to be
So the
getting
Harry Potter one
another
onwards.
take on Harry Potter.
Oh wow,
Yeah,
that's gonna be really interesting. It's gonna be so weird because like we're so used to like Daniel Radcliffe as Harry Potter, and having a new person play as Harry Potter is gonna be it's gonna be a bit weird. Because I mean,
definitely.
you're in the same boots as me, but about the same age. I see. Well, you're a little bit older, but we all grew up with Harry Potter. We always known as Daniel Radcliffe, Harry Potter. Like, you know.
Yeah, yeah. I'll definitely leave that segment
Yeah,
for another.
that's for another time. Sorry.
But okay, yeah, I can't. You can't, back to the point. Sorry.
No worries.
Yeah, yeah. If it makes money and it's a franchise, there's going to be more.
Yeah,
And I feel like after like the third film, maybe once they've got their foot officially cemented in a saga of films, I can definitely see the studio if they have the resources and the if they have a filmmaker and a scriptwriter interested. I think they can pursue a TV show esque story,
yeah.
a series project. It really depends on what they want to do and if it fits in with the world. Because they could easily just tell a story about the studies during like the 12-year time period when they were living on Pandora, and they just deal with a minor threat. Or maybe it could be completely original where it focuses on some new characters during a period between one of the films in the series, and it gives sort of like the Star Wars Clone Wars TV show, where that was all about filling in the gaps between the Clone Wars.
They
They
could,
could do
yeah.
something similar where they could fill in a period of time that wasn't able to be explored in the films.
It could be animated fully. It could like be like the Clone Wars. They could be fully like that. And that'll be an interesting direction for it. Like filling, as you say, filling in them gaps that we missed between 1 and 2 would be very interesting. I assume that the gap between 2 and 3 will probably be quite seamless. I assume it's going to be like right after each other. Because then,
Yeah, that,
if I'm remembering right, after the second one, did they stay in the water trial? Or did they leave straight away, or did it just
in the
end
second one,
from that funeral thing?
it ends with the funeral, but it ends with the
Spoiler
declaration.
alert
Yeah,
beforehand.
I mean, come on, audience. If you haven't seen the movie right now, what are you doing here?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it definitely ends with them declaring war on humanity, and they are going to protect their new home, the Water Tribe. So they're still there, and
Okay.
we know that they filmed this film back to back with the third film. So a
Oh,
lot of
have
the
they
actors
already started filming it
cast.
then?
Oh yeah, they filmed. It was made public that they filmed the third film and the second film back to back, and I
Huh.
believe they did some reshoots recently or like earlier in this year. But
What
but yeah,
was it? Apparently, sorry.
it's okay. They're still working on it, but they are the majority of the second and third film was filmed together, and I do believe they started production on the fourth one as well this year. So or like last year. So it's like pretty evident that the film series are like all being done at the same time, so that they can. I think James Cameron, he made it again. I'm repeating of what I heard, but apparently he chose to do that so that the actors would be within their same age range when they were cast, so he didn't have to bring them back every 2 to 3 years, and they were much older in like the next scene as opposed to when they were
Yeah, no, that's definitely
12
a
or
good
something.
idea.
Yeah, it's sort of a similar thing with what happened with Stranger Things, where they brought back the characters, but because they film seasons every few years, the characters were like 12, and then they were 15, and then they were 18, but they were still playing like 15-year-olds. It was
Yeah, it's so weird
a bit of
to
a
see.
problem. So his goal was
But
to like not do that.
I do remember, what was it in Avatar 2? You know the one of the other military, the other villain. It was like a lady, the military lady. Can't remember her name. Absolutely don't remember it. But apparently, her act. So as her as an actor, she filmed her scenes years ago. Apparently, like quite a long time ago, and didn't even remember that she was playing that role until Avatar 2 came out.
Oh shit!
Yeah, yeah.
God, that must be a
And
weird
it's just like,
experience.
yeah, I mean, she probably does remember, but she's like, she was not sure if the film was still coming out. Probably because again, like, the film was probably heavily under NDA, and no one could talk about what it's about and what it is. And she's probably not in that. Yeah, she was filming for it, but I'm assuming that NDA probably expired at a certain point until just before the film came out or something like that. Yeah, no, it's really interesting.
Yeah. Honestly, I think at the end of the day, Avatar right now it's in an okay place because the film made a lot of money,
Yeah,
and there is interest in it, even if I would say there is not
it's just
the
like
most.
opinions, isn't it? It's like the small opinions make it sound louder, but I do think a lot of people probably still like it.
Oh yeah, I mean, I can't deny that I enjoyed the movie. If I watch it again, I might think differently, but I
Mm,
still stand by that. I think the second act of the movie is what sold it for me, and
100%.
it's what I'll be enjoying the most of when I watch it again. And it really just depends on what their drive is to do with the sequels, because again, as we mentioned, the third film is going to be like a make or break it scenario depending on what the story is, and we have a like a rough idea of what it could be about, and who knows, that could be again if the final product, when it has the meat on its bones, and when we're able to see the full course, maybe it will be like
Yeah,
worth it.
I was thinking that. It's like
Alternatively,
I can't wait for them all to release, and then at the end, like when it's finished, seeing the final outcome and how they string together, because that'll always be nice to see. Because then it might actually, this second one, yeah, it might be a bit bad now, but when it comes into full fruition, then it will look 10 times better probably, and then the
maybe
things will make sense.
we can hope for the best, I guess.
Mm. Definitely, definitely. But yeah, Avatar. Hell yeah.